You are tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast, premiered every Thursday at noon at bringingdowntheband.com and brought to you by No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, and Printfinity. Support the New Old Heads by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/newoldheads.
Episode 79, the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7th. I make beats and I do have the hard drive to prove it. And I'm surrounded by foolishness at the moment. We are the New Old Heads, episode 79. Yeah. Okay, yes. Longevity. What's good, sir?
Doing all right. How you doing?
I can't complain, man. Good to be with you brothers as always.
Word.
Jay Diff. DJ Jay Diff is in the building rocking the exclusive Jay Diff Printfinity t-shirt. That is a one of one. I've not seen that one outside of him. So hit that man up for that product. What's good, my brother?
Salutations, my friend.
All right, good to see you.
My friend.
On-site production, as always, working those the camera angles. Red August, my man Michael Anthony. Pay that man. Weddings.
Did you
photo
just skip
shoots.
Jay Moore too?
I'm coming to him.
Oh,
He's trying to do
I'm
brand
coming to
new
him.
shit.
Yeah, I'm coming to him.
brand new.
Shout out to my man Mike. Pay that man. Immediately to my left, Mr. Wavy light-skinned girls adore and love me. Jay Moore is in the building.
That's the remix.
Yeah. See, yeah. I mean, that's new.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm not mad at it, but once again, you have to view everything on my page and understanding what the culture encompasses.
you.
It's not just what you.
I feel you. Maybe I
pick
just
up
click on the ones that I see.
That's your issue, not mine. Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel you. I'm just going off what I see.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah.
just going off
Little
what
adjustment.
I see.
So yeah, we're
Yeah.
good.
We good to go?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Yes.
this one's going to be a very interesting episode. We got some things to talk about.
Episode
obviously.
79, y'all.
Episode 79.
There's one for the books. I'm telling you now.
I do not have anything that corresponds with sports, so we're going to jump right in.
Let's go.
All right.
As you heard on the introduction, the theme music that we selected for today, one of my childhood, I'll admit it, one of my childhood heroes has unfortunately been sentenced, or thus far they say
He's been
convicted.
He
Wrong
was,
word.
yeah.
Could face up to 3 years.
Or he can face up
I mean,
to
30
No,
years.
up to
30 years. I'm
30
sorry.
years.
Yeah, 30 years. I'm sorry. I knew
10
the 3
for
was
every
on there.
charge.
10 for every charge. Dr. Bill Cosby. I was at work actually, and one of my coworkers was like, "Yo, this is loud," like on the sales floor, like, "Yo, they got Bill, man." I'm like, "Got what?" I still had my headset on, whatever. It's like, "Yo, go look on CNN or YouTube. It's a live stream." And I go on and I look, and then I see ladies coming out of the courtroom after the verdict, and I see there's women sitting down there, kind of in a group together, and they're just sobbing and crying like uncontrollably. They're crying, and they get moved around or walked around to the other side, and it's like it's raw footage, like you can hear it audibly, like it's really really loud crying. These ladies are going crazy, and I'm like, dang, they must have. I hate to say got them, but you know what I mean when I say that. And that footage was very, very real. It was like, yo, these women are actually, like that's just natural emotion for what I saw. But we all grew up on Hillman. I did. I grew up on Hillman. Grew up on the Brownstone.
I went to
with the
Hillman.
Oh, shout out to Hillman.
Yeah.
I had a Hillman shirt on the other day, but
But I went there.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate, man. We've always talked about what do you point out in terms of stars or people that you admire. Do we take the entire story? Do we try to omit things? Do we take it from a cumulative basis and take everything into consideration? But this one was kind of tough, man. But you do the crime, you do the time. Jay Diff, what are your thoughts on Dr. Cosby?
Well, it's very unfortunate. I've said this before. As far as the allegations were concerned,
Yep.
had to be some kind of truth behind it. It was too many people
Sure.
coming from different angles.
Sure.
It's just interesting that they waited 30 years in order to say something,
Right.
or the well must have ran dry on the money they were receiving. But I think Jay Moore had made the point earlier about being able to separate the two, as far as the art that you were accustomed to.
Yep.
And what's going on currently right now. I mean, because you can't take that back. I mean, you were raised on the Cosby kids, Junkyard Gang,
Even Fat Albert. I didn't even
Fat
mention that.
Albert, yeah,
I didn't even mention that.
Picture Pages,
I didn't mention that. Yep.
Cosby Show, of course.
Yep.
Lil Bill was on Nickelodeon for the kids came up under us.
Yep.
On top of all the other things he was responsible for outside of entertainment. It's unfortunate.
No, go ahead, brother. Go
You
ahead.
good?
Mm-hmm.
Just showing Lone something. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
I didn't see it.
Nah. But yeah, it's crazy how it unfolded, and I mean, what else can I say? It is what it is.
It is what it is. Jay Moore, jump in.
Well, you know, I'm not gonna, like I said, I am one of those people, I can separate the art from the artist, because
Okay.
the thing is, if you start to get into many of the people that we admire, and we're gonna
Yes,
talk
sir.
about this in depth a little bit later,
Yes,
you're gonna find some things that you just don't like.
that's a fact.
You know, if you look really deep into James Brown's life,
Yep.
and we, you know, he's the godfather of soul. He had a problem with women as well, you know.
That's a fact.
As far as putting his hands on them, I'm not going to go into detail. You can look it up. Some of you have heard
It's
the stories.
documented.
You know, love the Temptations, but
Yes,
you know, David Ruffin had his issues with
And
women.
ain't nobody come and see you, Otis.
I
You
like
know,
that. I like that.
Marvin Gaye.
Yes, sir.
You know, we really get into Marvin Gaye.
I was just inspired by my latest project.
You know,
But he was R. Kelly before R. Kelly.
Man.
Maybe
Well,
not to that extent.
to that
but
I ain't gonna say
extent.
to that extent, but
You know, Jerry Lee Lewis. Well, you know, if we want to just take it and stay in
Woody
stay in
Allen.
the music. So
we've already talked
if
about
we're going to talk about canceling people, and we got to get all these people out of here,
Weinstein.
there's going to be a lot of things that get yanked off of television
It's
if
a
we're just
fact.
going to only keep the people who've lived perfect lives. You know, so
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I still, you know, start the day with A Different World and The Cosby Show between Laugh and Bounce TV. Those are for those of you who don't have cable, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The places that run all those old television shows, you know. But see, the thing is, I have a little bit of a different perspective as far as how things went in court.
yes, sir.
Now, for those of you who haven't been following the trial, he's been tried on these charges before, but there was a hung jury, so they couldn't
Yep.
come to any sort of resolution. So they decided, okay, we're going to keep going after this. And I had told someone they're going to keep prosecuting this until he is either dead or he winds up being convicted. I honestly believe that.
And it happened.
And so, you know, they got a conviction, so one way or another. And while I do believe most of these women, I'll be honest, some of these women, I was like, this isn't, I don't believe them all. I think some
No,
of
I
them
definitely. I don't believe them all either.
I believe enough of them to where I
Yeah.
understand where he's problematic.
Somebody told me I was wrong when I said or mentioned that there is a realistic possibility that some of these women are actually just trying to just get the bag, get bread. Oh, you don't know that? I said, I'm not saying that I know that, but
I mean, a
and
few of them have actually came forth and said that it wasn't 100%
that's what I'm saying.
true what they said
That's what I'm-
originally.
That's
see,
what
the
I'm
thing is,
saying.
the young lady who, you know, one of the ones that actually brought charges, she had already been paid off.
Okay.
Okay, so there's that. So
Right.
like, if she's already been paid off, let's just be honest. You don't pay even if you're Bill Cosby and you got bread like that,
Yep.
you just don't pay off people for no reason at all.
Yeah,
Facts.
that's
Okay,
it
so
It doesn't make sense.
so when there's smoke, there's fire. Now, I do have a bit of an issue, I feel like I can separate the two, just like I separate the art from the artist.
With you saying that, I want you to hold that thought really, really quick
Okay.
before you jump in. I want to come to Lone because Lone has been pretty consistent when we've talked about this, when we talked about the separation. Like to what Jay Moore was getting ready to say, to what, you know, Terry and I have had that conversation. To me, I look at it from a cumulative angle, but I can also be like, okay, this was this and this was this. Lone has been very, very firm on, and tell me if I'm misquoting you, but you've always looked at it like it's everything. I can't separate it. I have to hold them accountable for the entire story or whatever.
Well, it's all right. So when you talk about, all right, so we're in 2018. This
Yep.
stuff has been brought up right now.
Right.
When we talk about R. Kelly,
Yep.
we're talking about these were allegations quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
throughout a period of time that we all knew about while we were listening to R. Kelly because he's our generation.
Facts.
It's different when we talk about Marvin or we talk about Ted. When we talk about artists that were before
James
our
Brown.
time,
Yep.
you know, because it's just different,
Right.
in my
Right.
opinion. Or even Cosby. If you grew up on him and then after the fact, then it's like, okay, well, that's already instilled in you. It's one thing.
No question.
But it's one thing to continue to support, in my opinion.
Once you've been
Yeah.
aware of what's
So
going
now,
down, right?
so we're in the R. Kelly era right now.
We
no,
are.
I can't support R. Kelly at all.
Moving forward.
No, I just
That's
I don't
fair.
fuck with Chris Brown either.
Okay.
It just is what it is.
That's
you know,
fair.
that's just my opinion.
Okay.
If Bill Cosby comes out with a new show, I'm not gonna watch it.
He can't come out with a new show.
I know he can't, but if he
I
would,
see what he's saying, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but if he did, I wouldn't watch it.
Right.
Okay.
Not
I
that he
respect
could, but he couldn't for multiple reasons.
Yeah. It's over for the shows.
But
Yeah.
that's more so where I stand. You know, I
Okay.
don't believe in supporting people after they've done fuck shit and then supporting the fuck shit in that aspect. I think there's difference to it. And I think it kind of goes with his point. I think we kind of agree for the most part.
Okay.
But nah, but as far as separating the art,
Yeah.
nah, at that point I just don't fuck with you.
just as a whole.
No, just
Jump-
why
jump-
would I? It
Jump
just
back
doesn't
in,
align
Jay
with
Moore.
me.
I
Well,
respect that. He's
see-
been consistent with that.
Well, see, my thing is this: when we talk about the whole way this was prosecuted,
Mm-hmm.
I can have an issue with Bill Cosby and his behavior and think that what he did is foul,
Right.
but also have a problem in which the court system moved to prosecute this man because
Right. No, I can agree with
my
that too.
issue is okay, say Major Seventh, say they said, okay, Major Seventh's out here, he stole the TV.
Okay.
All right. Now there's no physical evidence.
How big was the TV I stole? Just so I
You
know.
stole a 32-inch TV, just
Flat
something to
screen.
have. Yeah,
It
the
ain't
big
an old,
screen.
back
it ain't an old school boy
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Goodwill.
no, it's
is
not
it?
like you had not a
It's got
Sony
the,
Vega.
it's got the big back on.
It's one that you can slip under your shirt.
Exactly.
Oh,
But okay, and now there's no
Brilliant.
physical evidence.
Okay.
There's no videotape showing you doing this.
okay.
But the person that said that you did this went out and found 10 other people and said, "Yeah, Mike steals TVs."
Okay.
Now,
He be stealing.
Exactly.
He probably would
So-
have told you I did.
okay,
Nope.
so you've got the person that said you stole the TV,
Yep.
and then 10 other people who said, "Yeah, he steals TVs."
Yep.
Now, while the allegation is foul that you're a thief,
Mm-hmm.
and the implication that you have done something wrong, there's no actual evidence. You just got a bunch of people in the room who said you've done something,
Right.
and I don't want that to be the burden of proof and enough to decide, okay, we're going to put people we just want to get up out of here. If we just get enough people to say we don't like this person,
Right.
because let's just be honest, some of these people, they weren't actual material witnesses for the actual crime that had been committed. They were just people who said, yeah, he's done stuff like that before.
I got something
And-
for you.
Okay, go ahead.
I got something for you from CNN.
And like I said, I don't want anybody to listen to this think
Yeah.
that I'm not, I'm just against the women, because once again, I think Bill Cosby is foul.
right.
It's because he actually admitted in a deposition that he's done this sort of thing, but at the same time, that deposition was supposed to be sealed, and then for whatever reason, the judge felt like, you know what, I'm going to unseal his deposition. So here, there are a lot of things at play. Because the thing is, I don't want anyone to have to bend to the conspiracy theorists. And when you have almost new rules to make sure somebody goes to jail,
Yeah, that's where it gets.
that's where it
Yeah.
gets messed up. Like I said, this is not an endorsement of anything that Bill Cosby has done.
Nah, and
But
people,
when you're
some people will draw
But
that
at
conclusion.
the same
it ain't
time,
that.
when we're talking about putting a man in jail, basically he's 80 years old. So if he serves the time concurrently, which means because they said for each charge is 10 years.
he's going
which
to
means
pass
he'll-
away in jail.
Which means that's a life sentence.
yeah, he's going to pass
So-
away in jail.
I just want people to think about that, because the thing is, if we're going to use that standard, then think about the next time when you could just grab a whole bunch of people who weren't witnesses to a crime and who can't actually present anything of material to the specific incident, and you can just say, well, this is how that person is,
Check this
and
out.
bring
This
them
is-
in
this
as
is-
witnesses.
This is via CNN. I want to check. I want y'all to hear this. There's a gentleman named Harrison Snyder. He had an interview on ABC. Now he's one of the jurors for the case, right? So
I don't know. You tell me.
if I could throw something at him, I would, man. But I can't. Like they say, you're not supposed to throw stuff at master trolls. So it's my brother, man. I love him, man. That's my man. I ain't gonna throw that at him. But
I mean, you're reading it. I mean,
I'm just saying, man.
Right?
Let me cook, man. But
Go
no,
ahead,
Harrison Snyder was he was interviewed by ABC, and it says that I don't think it. And this is him. This is a quote from the gentleman. He says, "I don't think it really necessarily mattered that these five other women were here, because he said it himself that he used drugs for other women." Now, the headline basically was saying in a nutshell, Bill Cosby told on himself by saying and admitting to his point about the deposition that.
So those women actually vindicated?
No, it's just that
because if not, because that juror is basically talking about evidence that he heard from what was supposed to be a sealed deposition.
Exactly, and he's looking at it like it didn't. Basically, and I'm paraphrasing here. He's like, it didn't really matter about the other five. He already said it off top that this is what happened. This is what we used to do. So that was his train of thought as a juror. So Terry jumped back in on that because he's basically saying
who cares?
It doesn't matter about that. It's like
that's what I'm gonna say.
I see where you're going.
I mean, I get it.
No,
but that's what he's saying, though. You feel me?
I understand where you're coming from, but once again, if that's the
Fuck
standard,
the law.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
Jump in.
But
I mean, everything that y'all said is correct.
Right.
What I want to talk on specifically is the impact, whether it be good or bad. You all right over there?
Mm-hmm.
Impact.
That's what that oil.
Wrong pipe.
I understand how that is.
Excuse me.
It's all right.
Don't throw
What?
up on
Just
yourself.
don't die.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
We'll edit that out.
All right.
No, we're keeping that.
Nah, man. Y'all gotta mute that.
Mike's like, no, it's actually staying.
No, you can mute that. Go ahead.
But no, what I was gonna say is I want to go back to the impact, whether it be good or bad, that Bill Cosby has had on certain individuals' lives.
Right.
Fair enough.
Regardless of the case or whatnot, he
Okay.
has been convicted. It's not alleged anymore.
Right.
He has been convicted. Some good has happened. This is why I can say that his career is something that I can actually still look back to. There were other people on those shows other than him.
Right.
Sure.
One of those shows, Different World, actually inspired a generation of kids to get their education.
I'm one of them.
There you go. Without certain shows that showed you a different way of life, you may not have aspired to do the things that you did.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? So I'll take those pieces from his career because I was there. I grew up in that time.
Yeah, we all did. We were in that era. Yeah.
But those are characters that he was playing. You know what I'm saying? And characters that he wrote or created.
Yeah.
Those aren't him. You know,
As far as I'm concerned, Bill Cosby and Dr. Huxtable are two different people.
right.
No
And I can
question.
separate that
No
in my mind
question.
and still enjoy the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
And
question.
A Different World.
But
Uh-oh.
okay,
I like this. I like this.
when we talk about separating the art from the
Yes.
artists,
We're gonna talk about that.
it's different. The
Okay.
Cosby and the Huxtable is different from a musician, in my opinion.
Okay.
I can see that because a musician is speaking from
A reflection of his actual
themselves.
life, yes.
Yeah.
Whereas
It's just
in-
like Kevin Spacey and all his characters, kind of the same
Right.
way.
right.
So here's the thing, though.
Mhm.
To Terry's
Right.
point.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, because
exactly.
the thing is, like, there's
exactly.
part of me was like, so we not gonna get the final season of House of Cards? Like, I know, and that's selfish on my part,
Yeah.
but I'm like, because I realize Kevin Spacey is allegedly, you always got to throw that in there,
Yeah.
To Terry's
hurt people.
To
real.
point, though, when you talk about impact and you talk about, for example, when he created
The greater
the
good.
the concept of Hillman, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was one to me. That's a big part of my childhood from a standpoint of when you look at, you see Dwayne Wayne and Ron, like you see these guys, they're young, fresh, they're black.
Dwayne
but-
Wayne.
Dwayne Wayne, that's the character's name. Shout out to the flip up glasses, y'all know. Y'all
Straight
live in
up.
a certain area.
Remember the Bart Simpson shirts?
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
He stayed with Jay's too.
Definitely.
But those guys were like, I looked at those guys like, yo, it's cool to go to college. You can still be cool and go to college and kick it and have a good time and still hit your books and marry, get your girl that you want and marry her and you know what I'm saying?
Whitley.
Yeah, get your Whitley and just start your life and be cool.
So they were really promoting poverty because realistically, we go to college and we come out and we got all these loans.
Boy, you better talk that talk.
Well, that's the woke answer. But
We don't want the woke answer right now. He's right though.
yeah, he's
He's
right.
1,000%
Like I said, that's the woke.
right.
That's the woke answer.
We
But
don't go down that route, but that's a fact.
yeah,
But what I'm saying is he has a huge part in that culture, especially the 80s, the 90s, and then you think about all the bread that he's given to these universities as well. Like Felicia Rashad was talking about, like all the stuff that he's done that people don't talk about. Like she said she never saw any of this stuff on set. Like he was around all of these women that were portraying his daughters and all that type of stuff. So she was really going at it like, look, I ain't see this. Now what happened may have happened, but this is not what we saw. And her angle was really on some. A lot of these people, to me, seem like they're trying to get bread.
I ain't want to be sexist or be the shallow how type of dude.
Okay.
But some of these women that
Talk
were
to
in
me.
question,
Talk to me
You're
now.
gonna go there, huh?
I'm just saying.
Let's go
What
there.
what was Bill on?
Well,
Bill
Let's
was
go.
on.
Bill was a sick person.
Quaaludes.
Yeah.
And he was on drugs.
I mean, was he on them? Because he was trying to give
No,
them
he
to
was
the-
giving them to the women.
Right.
That's the way I understood it. So
But
I mean, I know that.
don't do that.
I mean, that's the era.
I mean, but
That is the era. Good
that is
point.
because
That's
they
a good
used
point.
to
And it
call
wasn't-
them thigh gappers when they'd be at the Playboy Mansion kicking it.
But not.
That boy did his homework. I like that.
But it's.
I like that Jay Moore. Thigh gappers.
Because the
Hey,
thing
make
is,
sure.
it's funny, but like we really shouldn't laugh.
No.
But you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, like
I know.
this is
That's real though. He's
I've-
to his
I've-
point.
I've-
That's real.
I've heard people from that era talk about Quaaludes
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
But I've heard
it's
from
on Wolf
guys.
of Wall Street too.
It
Remember
is.
when he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he took a lot of Quaaludes.
Yeah.
That was different when he thought that was a
he
very
said
funny
Wolf
scene.
of,
Wolf
Wolf
of
of
Wall,
Wall
Street.
Street.
Wolf of Wall.
There's a whole Quaalude
Yeah.
scene in there, which is absolutely
You have
hilarious.
not seen that movie?
yeah.
I don't know what Wolf of Wall Street is.
Bruh.
Is it Wolf or is it Wolf?
Okay, see now
So
you
you being
trolling.
petty.
I wouldn't.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
It
So
was Wolf
my
of-
point
You know
is,
what the hell it is.
my point is, my point is that sure they were thigh gappers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but men took them too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It
okay,
wasn't
okay.
just that. At least from the stories that I've heard from people that are older.
Tony
than my
Montana
generation.
mentioned it in Scarface.
Wow.
Another Quaalude.
So it really was
Should
about
Love
that
Me
era.
Again.
Yeah.
But it was used both ways.
But
So,
I mean,
but-
and this is something that like, you know, once
Take
again,
the edge
I've
off.
had, you know, if we're like I said, we're gonna have to get some women in here, so we're just
Yeah,
eventually-
for sure.
Eventually,
Crazy scene
you know,
right here,
shout
man,
DJ
by the
Gabby
way.
Love. We're gonna get you.
Yes,
in
we
here soon,
need.
sweetie.
Yes, we need Gabby
But-
Love. No doubt about it.
But this is the thing. There's just stuff that we do this wrong
Bad out
as
there,
men, and like, and the thing is, when you say it out, sometimes we say it out loud. Like I had a conversation with some cats. Very appropriate movie
Sorry,
what
I
we're
can't-
going to talk about.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
gonna talk about this
where
next.
I said, you know what? If you think about
Shout out
it,
to Red August.
almost every dude has been guilty of some form of sexual assault. Like if you think about the school dances,
Yeah.
and like you know you think things are going well, and you rub your hand, and she's got to take your hand and move it back up because you're about to touch on that ass. Technically, that was enough for them to send Tupac to jail.
Wow.
Let's just talk about. Let's just
Yeah.
keep
I
it
like
real.
how you tied
All
that.
right,
You know,
yeah.
and if you think about, okay, when you're first getting out here into the nightlife, and you know, you might have a young lady come over to your house and you offer her a glass of wine,
Okay.
or you say, hey, would you like me to make you a drink? You know, of course she should knowingly, okay, yes, he's making me a drink, but you know, let's just be honest, like that's not just about hospitality.
Facts.
For
Okay,
sure, for sure.
especially when you're younger and you have a lot of. So I think there needs
But
to
a young
be.
lady is gonna fix you a drink at her house too.
You know what? Yes,
I like that. I like that.
It can go both ways. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing where like when older men don't talk to younger men about
Absolutely.
things.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think a lot of this disconnect is coming in. I know
Yes.
we're talking about a larger issue here as far as
and it's
as-
not. We're not here to try to call somebody's bluff. We're not here to say these women don't have actual stories with stuff that actually happens to them. I just feel like there's so much gray
No, I
area.
mean, he
in this.
said. He
Exactly.
said he
No, he
did.
said what he was
we're
doing.
not saying that, but to Jay Moore's point, like we've all talked about so much gray area just within this one topic. There's so many ways that you can go.
But like with all that gray area, yo,
Facts are
Bill was
facts.
foul.
Facts.
Bill was
I agree.
living foul. He
I
was out
agree.
here doing what he didn't need. And like
I
I
agree.
said, unfortunately, like I said, I said in the previous episode, I've seen it from both sides.
Yep.
I've seen how women will rush towards semi-famous men
Yes, sir.
and we want to do something strange. Not even for a little piece of change. They just want to do something strange for somebody famous.
Yep.
Do it for the gram.
Bill Cosby,
I'm a rapper.
yes,
Long
yes.
can rap.
You didn't have like. I'm like, yo, if you like, there are women who, if you said, look, if you want to be on my #1 TV show, you know what you need to do, and either they can say yes or no, and if they said no,
Well, I've never done that.
like, yeah, okay, But I'm just saying, this
But
is
yeah.
while you didn't like. This speaks to a level of sickness where
Period.
you got to give somebody something. Like if you're out here trying to engage with women who are unconscious, you
That's
have a
whack.
problem.
That's very whack.
And
At the, end of the,
that's-
at the end of the day, that's whack.
And nobody is co-signing that.
At
the
all.
only thing that I'm saying is, like, if we're going to talk about the way this is moved through the judicial system, there's some questions that I have and things that I'm not comfortable with as far as the way this moved through the judicial system.
All right, so look.
And so you can feel the way about both things, and
Right.
yeah. So like 'cause-
Capable of multiple thoughts.
yeah. So
Word.
that's the thing where you can be capable of multiple thoughts, and those are two of the thoughts I can have at the same time.
Let's,
Bill Cosby's foul, and I don't like the way this was prosecuted.
Yeah.
Let's wrap on the bill for now, because like I said, this with him, this ain't going away. Like
Nope.
it is what it
We'll
is.
see. He still has to be sentenced.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens down the road on that one. But go ahead, Lone. Don't do that. Don't say it. Don't do it. Don't do it, man.
All right.
Don't do
All
it.
right. All right.
Massive troll.
We'll
man.
see what it says.
Stop, man. Stop.
We'll see what it says.
Can we go to
Yep. Let's
the
move.
theme for our movie selection today? And
Oh yeah, let's
How
get
everything-
into
Y'all
that.
want to do that, or do y'all want to touch on the Nas situation? Since it's
All right,
kind of
so-
similar.
Yeah,
just
let's do
real
that.
if we
quick.
want to do Nas, we're gonna have to keep Nas
Nah, it's real
relatively,
quick.
relatively
quick.
Keep it,
relatively
okay.
short.
Because this
Did you guys
this is
watch the
new.
interview? Did you watch the interview with?
I did.
I don't want to butcher her name.
Kelis. I saw
Kelis.
pieces of it, and I saw with the snippets that Angela Yee in the Breakfast Club played. So basically, she said long.
It was a long interview.
It was a long interview. Yeah,
I didn't
I'm
have
just
time, so I missed- I
I'm
didn't-
paraphrasing because she talked about, I guess, his drinking habits, and he would drink a lot, and they would go back and forth and get in arguments, and I guess it got a little physical. And she said,
I
that-
think what people miss though out of that, because people keep saying Nas.
Well,
She admitted that
Yep,
it was a mutual thing.
she did.
And so this is what I want to say about that. People shouldn't be so quick to always just point the finger at one specific party
But-
in those relationships. There's always a but.
and I have one. But go ahead.
But if it's something that's going on where it's a problem between the both of them,
Yeah,
regardless of this person's what did they say, drinking habits or whatnot.
Right.
yeah,
If
That's
you're
what she
part of the
said.
problem as well, then you can't paint the picture just for it to be all about that other person.
solely being on Nas.
Correct.
Right.
Jump in, Lone.
I was just gonna say that but at the same time, so the accusations against her is what consecutively or concurrently, or however you want to say, is that she's been quote unquote crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I've
That's-
heard that.
well-
yeah.
But
Okay.
but at the same time, if he was physically abusive,
Right.
what makes that all right? Which,
We're not saying
no,
it's
no,
all
we're not
right.
vouching
that
for
is
it.
no,
not right.
I'm not suggesting that you are saying that, but I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, he was physically abusive, right?
But
so
at the
and she
same
had
time,
something to do with it. But what makes that okay?
No, we're not saying that makes it okay, but at the same time, first of all, if you're talking about two people who are living too fast, introducing
And
too
they were
many,
young.
too many chemicals
Yeah.
into their relationship, like I said, I'm not here to dispute whether or not Kelis had bruises on her body. But at the same time, if she's getting fall down drunk too,
Right.
I want to be careful here because I don't ever want to dismiss a woman's claim of abuse because a lot of
Never.
times this is why women don't come forward because
Right.
Well,
they're-
plus there's the
because-
power structure that we don't talk about.
Exactly.
As well. You know,
Facts.
the men
The-
power
the-
structure in general. You know, I mean,
but at the same time it's like, okay, do we this is something that I struggle with because I'm like, if someone tells me a story and then about another person, I still want to hear the other side of the story. Okay. So if it's a woman who says she was beaten, I still want to hear from. Maybe I shouldn't have that mindset, and it's not just because I admire him as an artist, but I'm like, well, wait a minute, is this really what happened? What do you have to say? Because I think now as now we're talking about in the Me Too movement, basically a woman can say anything, and we just say to the man who she's accusing, bad,
Right.
you're wrong.
For sure.
You need to be held accountable for your actions.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
Now don't get me wrong. I'm not one of those people who feels like, oh, why did she wait 9 years? Because there's a lot of pain that women have to endure that they never are able to speak about for whatever reason. But at the same time, if you're getting blind drunk as well, I need to hear, okay, what was really going on? Because were all these bruises from beating? Were you falling down the steps because you're drunk as hell?
Yeah.
Like, like I said, it's complicated because because there are times I don't want every man who's made a mistake just to be thrown under the bus and for us to automatically believe
happens often.
the woman who may have her own agenda but maybe just telling her story. Like I said, I don't want to come off as a Nas apologist, because if he was out there putting his hands on Kelis,
yeah, we don't
or any woman, I don't want to co-sign any of that shit because it's unnecessary. I don't care how drunk or how you were, just go somewhere, go to the next room and sleep it off. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I just think we're in a position now to where like women can say anything about men, and the thing is, as a man, you can't, because a lot of times there's not even, you're tried and convicted in the court of public opinion, and you don't even have an opportunity to have a time in the court of law.
That's pretty much why I brought it up, because we've only heard what Kelis said.
Yeah,
nobody's seen or heard from Kelis in however long,
a long time.
And then she comes out and she has this interview speaking on her relationship with Nas,
because
we've been hearing a lot.
His album is about to come out.
Yeah, his album's about to come out, and also, all the court cases he's been going through as far as child support is concerned.
Custody,
And she's never brought up any of that before now. So
she brought some of that up in the interview too, didn't she?
I didn't watch the whole interview.
She mentioned something about the fact that he only shows up every once in a while.
She did talk about this,
something like that.
She did talk about his appearances in relation to.
I mean, I'm not really overly
son.
familiar with the situation. I was just.
I mean, nor am I.
curious
It's just I got it on the surface in terms of what she said.
Right.
I guess it was, to Lone's point, a longer interview. So, I don't know, man. Like, I hate that if that's the case, and then it comes out that Nas actually was on that, because as we all know, we don't condone that. But I don't know.
And the whole thing, this is because you mentioned Chris Brown, like. Earlier when we were talking about Bill Cosby. The thing is, I don't want anyone to be defined by their worst moment either.
No, that's fair too.
Because, say Chris Brown, what he did was foul, terrible. You don't put your hands on a woman. I don't care if she put her hands on you first. I don't care if you were drunk. But at the same time, did he get some help?
And that was the other point of it. I didn't expound on that. But
yeah, if Nas has got his drinking problem that she talked about under control, and he stopped putting his hands on women, I just don't want anyone to be defined by their worst moment.
She didn't seem like, from what I saw, she didn't seem like she was mentioning anything necessarily to put him under the bus. It seemed like she was just speaking
telling
on
her story.
Truth.
I didn't get the feeling that she was trying to get at him. I didn't get the feeling from what the clips that I saw.
Yeah, and so the Chris Brown thing, I agree with that. I don't think people should be defined like that if they make the adjustments in their life that they need to.
Yeah.
If Rihanna forgives him, and they move on from that.
Right.
Then who am I to still
then he addresses
be mad at
exactly
it?
Who am I to be mad at that?
I think
so. But then we have habitual people like R. Kelly.
Facts.
That's something. Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Like Bill Cosby.
So
that's totally different.
They're different. I threw them out there just as a reference. But
definitely.
But that was good to bring that up.
All right. So we got all that out the way. There's been a lot of news going on, and the culture has been shaken up by this young man with
the God body.
Man, so Kanye is in the news, and I'm I'm getting messages saying, "Yo, y'all gotta talk about Kanye. You gotta talk about Kanye." So we're gonna devote this last portion of the show and really jump in and don't do that. Jump in and kind of analyze.
Well, I'll
this.
start off and say last week Terry and I were really trying to give Kanye the shot.
Yeah.
I fought you both.
We definitely have
Yeah, but
to.
that doesn't make you right.
You don't have to make me right.
That
I'm
actually
just-
makes us right.
No,
Because
I'm
we're
just gonna
good
know
people. You're not a good person.
That's fine.
That's what
Y'all
that's
heard
what that
that,
is.
right?
You know.
Look,
So we
This
were,
is how it
like,
starts.
we
long
tried to give him the benefit of
Hey,
the
is
doubt.
As long as everybody's
is
happy,
that
that's
cola
what I'm
over
about.
There? Is that cola over there? Where's that cola?
I'm sorry?
Where's that cola at?
Oh, you want some cola?
He looking
Mike,
for
grab
that
the
soda
cola.
pop.
What are you doing? Grab the cola. On-site production. Grab.
Of course, it was right by Mike's hand.
hey man, they're not sponsored.
They're
Be
not
careful.
Yeah,
sponsoring us.
Don't
Thanks
put
for
that
saying the
label out
name,
there.
Jay Moore.
That's why I said cola. I didn't say
You see what we
the
have to
name
go
brand.
Man,
Listening skills.
man. Oh yeah.
Active listening.
Speaking
All right,
of
let's get
active
into it.
listening, so did you get a chance to listen to your buddy Kanye,
Hey, man.
Terrence? Let me tell you what he said about slavery. So here's what he said about slavery. Yeah, that's some fuck shit.
That's some fuck shit.
He said slavery definitely sounds like a choice to me. That's what he said.
All of y'all? 400 years?
He basically went to TMZ. Shout out to Van Lathan, too. He definitely held him accountable. He basically went to TMZ and had a little fit about what he's been on in relation to Trump. And I'm coming to Jay Diff first because Jay Diff is an avid Kanye fan. He's a bigger fan than me, but I fool with Kanye. I'm not going to front and lie and say I'm not a fan. Up to Dark Twisted Fantasy, you couldn't tell me nothing about Kanye West. He lost me up to that point. But I'm coming to Jay Diff first. Sir, between the tweets, I ain't even talk about the new record. We're going to sneak that in at the end. Yeah. But between the tweets, don't do it. I know you ready. Between the tweets, between the TMZ, talk to me about your mans because last week you were
we know.
you were
We've
really giving
addressed
the
that.
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I want to say it again because I ain't believing it.
400
All right, go
years,
ahead.
there's all of y'all. You know, like it's like we're mentally in prison. I like
What
to
the
work.
hell, man? All right, so
Go ahead, man. Talk to me about
as,
your
as
boy.
Sean stated before,
Yes, sir.
when we first got into this,
Yes, sir.
we were trying to give Kanye the benefit of the doubt last week.
Yeah.
And it was all good just a week ago.
Yes, sir. Literally just a week ago.
Kanye West, man.
Mm.
What can I say?
What can you say?
Oh, man. So, I was at work when all this
Right
was
there.
going on.
There you go.
Look,
There you go.
That's where he is.
Yeah, right now.
That's where
So
Kanye
fitting.
is.
Look at him.
That's where Kanye
Come
is.
on, you can come. You can make it.
Come on,
Yeah,
Ye.
look at him. That's him
Come
looking
on,
up at
Ye.
the
Come on, man.
Kardashian
At the-
Jenner
Come on,
family.
Ye.
At the TMZ staff.
Man,
Hang in there, Ye.
He's like, nah,
right, so-
information,
Freedom of
feelings.
speech. Be
Man,
free.
he's so-
Free
MAGA.
thought.
Oh no.
Free. Make America great. Free again.
all right, let's talk about the Uncle Tom foolery that's
Let's
going
go.
on with
Oh, I
Kanye
like that.
West.
I like
Uncle
that.
Tom foolery.
this dude. All right, so me
food?
trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Take your time. Take your time. You're on 10.
I'm
Take your time.
tongue tied because
Yes, sir.
it pissed me off.
Yes, sir.
Me trying to
now.
give him the benefit of the doubt based on, his prior music and who he is and
Great artist.
his impact on music, whatnot. Not so much here lately, but
And because he's a human.
overall, right. I don't understand who this new dude is, man, and I don't understand what he means by free thinking.
Okay.
So just because you decide to agree with everybody on the right versus everybody on the left or vice versa,
I got some
Okay.
ideas on that.
that does not mean you're free thinking.
Facts.
That just means you're trying to either stir the pot or you're trying to get a reaction out of somebody. That's not using free thought. Free thought is if you came up with something altogether based off of that rather than going directly to, I rock with Donald Trump, I wear this America, whatever the hell the slogan
Make
is.
America great.
Make America
Again.
fucking
Mega,
shitty
mega.
steel hat that he wears. That has nothing to do with free thinking just because you like Donald Trump or decide that you want
I
to
don't
like
think that's
Donald
what
Trump.
I think I know what he means by that.
Okay. But in general,
Yeah.
I just don't understand, like, because he wanted to point that out when he was talking to Van in that interview.
Mhm.
Okay.
Does that not look like I'm free thinking? Like he wants everybody to know
Yeah.
that he's free thinking.
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean, though? And then when Van broke it down to him, it's almost like the camera kind of flashed on him a little bit, like the Get Out moment, and he kind of seen something. But then, of course, he's right back in a sunken place because he's gonna think how he wants to think. This is Kanye. We know who Kanye is, and I'm just trying to understand where he's going with this because there's no way that this is who this guy is.
It might be though.
It might be.
Go ahead, Lone. Jump in.
I feel like he went to a mental hospital of sorts
he had a breakdown. Yeah,
he had a breakdown because he had liposuction and he got hooked on opioids.
Okay.
Oh man.
Very
See,
good.
I hadn't heard that, but
Yeah, man.
okay.
It's
I ain't
the
heard
whole.
that one.
I didn't heard so much Kanye, so I'm forgetting it and getting bits and pieces as we're
Right.
going.
All right. So
Fair enough.
All right, so what I take from everything that he is talking about is that he is on this different type of thinking to where he is trying to remove himself from his thoughts.
Okay.
And I can relate to this to an extent because I've read a few books on this in the last year relating to thought patterns and how your mind can get in your way. So when he's speaking on certain things, I'm like, oh, I know what book he read. And so it stands out to me. I think that he's my issue with it is that he's taking it and he's preaching it gospel like people don't know what he's talking about.
Facts.
Like he thinks he's this
Oracle
of all this
I like
information
Oracle. I like
of free thought and understanding of all these things.
I like Oracle.
But what he doesn't realize is that he has power and he has influence. And he doesn't truly understand what he's talking about in a lot of.
I think he knows that. That's the thing, though. Kanye knows he has.
Does he know though?
He
but
speaks
does he
on
know
it.
though?
He talks about it.
Like that's how
he
you
definitely
get
knows
people to buy those shoes and knock themselves out to pay more than retail. That
he
know your
knows.
influence.
He knows he's in the business to be an influencer. He had
Maybe
a
I
song
misspoke.
called Power.
Maybe I misspoke.
No, I don't think you misspoke.
No,
I don't think you misspoke at all. Actually, yeah.
I don't.
You're on the right path.
I don't necessarily think that he does not think that he has influence. I think he knows that. I think that he is fucking up because he has influence.
Yeah, he's definitely doing that.
And he's speaking on all of these things, but he is completely, like this free love idea, love everything, cool. But that's fine. But you can't say, okay, free love, let's just love everybody. I love Donald Trump.
But for him to say that and in the same breath start talking about 400 years of slavery and say that pretty much we could have got out of it if we wanted to.
Here's my take, and I'm coming to Jay Moore. I agree with what both of you have said. But what irks me about this entire situation is the concept of free thinking. And when I say the concept of free thinking, it's as if the fact that Kanye has voiced his opinion, which he's entitled to, he voices his opinion, and he has free thinking, but his stands will say that that it absolves him from the fuck shit or the corny stuff. So when you talk about the Donald Trump, or you talk about any of that in terms of the avoiding the racism or the 400 years of slavery, or it sounds like, whatever he said in terms of slavery, people tie the two together. They think that I'm saying that he can't be a free thinker, he can't be a creative musically, he can't do any of that stuff. But if I don't like everything, then I'm hating. Like that's what I've been hearing now. And I'm like, no, I can separate the two. I love that he's a creative. I think he's a musical genius when he's locked in. But that does not absolve him of aligning himself with Trump and doing the rest of that stuff. In my opinion, they don't go together. I don't agree with that.
Well, the issue that I have is that you can be a free thinker, but if you're poorly researched, then I don't, for him to say, I love Donald Trump. Okay, then are you aware of his policies? Are you aware that he took white supremacist groups off of the terrorist watch list when he became president? That affects you. Are you aware that, as far as you having your children having two grandmothers and you only having one wife, and that's not me being mean to the transgender community, because that's how they, because if he doesn't want me to if who was formerly Bruce Jenner wants me to refer to him as Caitlyn Jenner now, then that's me being respectful that say that he, his grandchildren have 2 grandmothers now.
Right.
And do you realize that there is someone in the next seat to be the president, Mike Pence, who does not respect that at all?
No.
Or even the fact that he's married to a white woman.
Yes, the fact that he's married. There are many of Kanye's constituents who are not respectful of that. The fact that Jeff Sessions is trying to reauthorize the drug war that has been disproportionately damaging to communities of black and brown people.
Not to mention he's from Chicago, Illinois.
And the thing is, he brought up something as far as like, oh, Chicago is the murder capital of the world. Let's just get something clear. That's something they like to say. It's a cool story, especially because Obama was the president, President Obama. Go ahead and give him his proper respect.
Say that.
And so they like to say, well, look at where this guy, he's the president, and look at the city. Thing is, they do crime and violent crime statistics based on per 100,000 people. Chicago doesn't even rank in the top 10. Now, is it very violent there? Yes, but the violence is concentrated in small areas, and it's because of what they've done to cross a lot of gang lines by closing schools, by how they've rerouted the transit system there. There's something very, very complicated that, a lot of people don't want to talk about. But I'm, from the city of St. Louis. St. Louis always ranks in the top 2 or 3, if they're not number 1 of the most violent places. And this is nothing to brag about. I'm not happy about this. Like,
not at all.
It makes me sad when I go and look at what's happening in St. Louis and how, they're already on a summer level of violence, and we're just now getting to May. And so there are things that it's like he's like one of those people that reads memes instead of books. And that's where he's getting his information. And that's unfortunate. But when he says, I love Donald Trump, and, well, let's talk about his policy and how it specifically and is targeting towards people that look like Kanye West. And it's basically, I'll just be honest. And this is something that I'll say out loud. When you talk about where we are in 2018, as a black man in America, I've never felt less safe, because
that's a fact.
We're talking about a time when people can just call the police on black people for living their lives, and there's a chance that you might get shot. And you have a attorney general who is not going to look into the police and their behavior, because a lot of these local attorney generals and people who are supposed to be looking over the police take contributions from the police. That's what's happening in Sacramento right now.
Right.
So we're at a place where, honestly, we don't have time for Negroes like Kanye West. I had to censor myself.
I like
a
how
little
you
bit
caught
there.
that. That's good.
Because
I like how you caught that.
For him to not have a clear understanding, like he lives in Calabasas and he's good.
He's that thought.
He's a rich man, and he's going to be all right.
That's
But
why I want to jump in.
I'm talking about people like the people in this
Glad he said
room
that.
who have to still live a regular life out here, whose lives are in a little bit more
he's not
peril because of the
qualified.
political quality.
I had this conversation today, and this is what I think is really being avoided, is the fact that Kanye does not know. I don't think he's grasping the concept of the power of his statements.
Yeah.
And I told one of my homies this. I said, all of the shit that he's saying, he's not taking into consideration, in my opinion, how it affects the people on the ground level. Because at the end of the day, you can rant, you can rock the hat, you can be a free thinker, you can do all of that stuff that you've done to either promote your album. If you're trolling, if you think that way, it's cool. I don't think he's crazy. I just think he's confused. But at the end of the day, it's still going to affect the people on the ground level, and your voice travels mountains. And I don't think he understands the power or the pull that he has when he says some of the stuff that he says, especially aligning himself with Trump. Skip all the free thinking and the music and the creativity. I don't want to hear all that shit. I'm cool with that. I'm a creative. I get it. But when you align yourself with someone like Trump, know the power of the words that you're saying, because that has a trickle-down effect.
Yeah.
And when you co-sign corny stuff, that has a trickle-down effect
Not
on black
corny,
people.
dangerous.
Dangerous. I stand corrected. When you co-sign dangerous stuff, that's corny, and it has an effect on people. Be careful with your power. Be careful with your words.
It's just
Here's a chip.
malicious. It's very malicious what he's doing right now, because for him to, like you said, align himself with Donald Trump and at the same time dismiss President Obama, somebody that, you know what I'm saying, that a lot of people look up to and
Right.
aspire to be,
Right.
and who did a way better job than what Trump is doing
And
right
it has
now.
nothing to do with Democrats and
Nothing
It
to
has
do with
nothing to do with
nothing
that.
at
It has
all.
nothing to do with that.
Is very malicious for him to do that, and to be raising kids. He has 3 kids, and to feed them that knowledge, telling them to get on TV.
That ain't knowledge.
You're right. To feed them that gibberish or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You were just on TV when Katrina hit saying George Bush doesn't care about black people. That was a different Kanye. Fast forward to now, you don't care about black people, because for you to say and fix your mouth to say that slavery was pretty much what was the exact thing he said?
He said
He said it was a choice.
A choice.
choice.
For him to say that it
Sounds
was
like
a choice.
Sounds like a choice to me.
and
He's
to
like-
say it laughingly,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, sounds like a choice.
For
It's
you to
almost,
say
it came
that-
off dismissive.
You're shitting on your ancestors.
Yes.
You're shitting on your well-being and how you're even be here in a position to be making music.
The Yeezy stands will tell you it's mental slavery. The Yeezy stands will tell you
And
well,
mental
that's just
slavery,
mental
my
slavery.
ass.
Well,
That's
first
not.
of all-
It's fact.
Yeah, he was talking about chattel slavery. So let's not get mental slavery.
Yeah, no, it's
out
not
of here.
mental slavery. He's talking about slavery in general.
But I'm amazed at the people that can say or come to a conclusion or say,
Fake woke.
"Man, I would have done this if I was a slave." No, you wouldn't. What
I
do you
mean-
know about being a? What do you know? How can you even fathom or relate to what a slave had to go?
Man, they
through
have
in 1800s?
lions, tigers, and bears in the zoo right now, which are
Right.
some of the most powerful animals on the face of the earth. They will
Right.
fuck you up.
Exactly. So when everybody gets woke on me and tells me, "Man, you just got to be mentally tough."
Nah.
Have you been mentally tough
Has nothing to
picking
do with
cotton, sir?
First
Have
of
you been
all,
mentally tough
let's,
doing
let's
that?
just be real. For all the black people in this country, let's just if we're going to really talk about America, let's talk about America. Black people have only been free for a little bit more than 50 years. And that's free on paper, because you know what? There's still things that are happening to us
Right.
every day. Like I said, there was another story coming out of Dallas where, you know, black man and you know, whoever he's with go in there to have a meal. And the manager comes over, and because there's a white regular who says he wants that table.
Yep.
And you know what? He said, "No, I was here first. I've ordered food." And the manager comes over and says, "Well, I'm going to call the police." He said, "Why are you going to call the police?" "Because I don't like you."
Right.
But you know what? He said, "You know what? Because of what's been going on lately, I'm going to leave. Because when the police get here, you don't know what's going to happen."
You never know.
You
And so
never know.
That's the
and
state that we're in right
and
now.
that's why I talk about, you know, and like someone will think it's hyperbole, and that's why, you know, when you look at these things and you examine them in their totality, that's why as a black person in America, like, I feel less safe than I've ever felt in my entire life, because when white people just feel uncomfortable
Yeah.
with me living my everyday life, they feel like they can call the police. And that's an issue, and that's something that Kanye West needs to understand, that these people have become emboldened, not for nothing. It's
Yep.
because there is a certain person in the White House right now who has filled his administration with people who will not protect, stand up, or speak out against things like this.
Right.
So
free thinking
so-
is
Free
not
thinking.
So-
free thinking is not changing the narrative to what you want it to be. That's not free thinking.
Man, say that again.
Free thinking is not changing the narrative to what you want it to be,
Thank you.
because that's pretty much what's going on. So anybody anybody black that Fox News approves of
Yeah.
is pretty much that type of person.
Yeah.
So you got to do the air quotes when you say free thinking.
Yeah.
Because Kanye has turned into that person.
Yeah.
He was first doing business with Damon Dash. Now he's doing business with Stacey Dash. See how that changed?
I see what you did.
I mean, it's crazy that that it has come to that, because I mean his counterparts and his constituents or whatnot are looking at him like, what the hell are you on, bruh?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about that song, matter of fact.
Okay,
the T.I. song.
Let's jump into Yeezy versus, I think it's Ye versus the People.
Yeah.
Now, I'll
Yawn.
speak for, I'll
Very
speak,
loud yawn.
I'll speak for Lone as well. I can speak for him on this because I've known him long enough. We came up talking about or learning and listening to music, and we learned how to chop samples and stuff like that. Like, I started a little bit before him, but that's what we came up doing. So
that artist is actually from Indianapolis.
Oh, word. Shout out
chopped.
to that artist that he sampled. But
I can't remember the name, but yeah.
I say that to say, on paper, this is supposed to be something that a person like myself or like Lone is quote unquote supposed to like. We're beyond that in terms of production now, but on paper, it's supposed to be, oh man, it's a sample chopped up, no drums, and it's just a rapper blacking out about, some subject matter. Like on the surface, that's what we're supposed to be. But I was underwhelmed, and I'm not underwhelmed off the subject matter. I'm not even underwhelmed on the concept with them trading back and forth and having the two different positions. I actually think that's dope. I'm underwhelmed on the execution.
Lazy.
No, as a song.
It sounds
and this has
lazy as a
nothing to-
record. There's nothing there.
This has nothing to do with how I feel
this
about
was just-
Kanye's.
They sound like rough takes.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Like
I mean, it probably
tracks.
was
Is
rough
this
because
finished?
it came out pretty much to go with what he was saying on Twitter.
Well, I guess he's a free thinker right now, so he's
Yeah.
just going with
And
it.
somebody's
To
gonna
me-
somebody's gonna tie us into not liking the record. Is
nah,
it's
that has nothing to
insane.
do with it. To me,
It's whack.
they tried to execute pretty much what Joyner Lucas did.
with the video.
That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
vibes
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
feeling on that. It's that
and I
back
fool
and
with Tip
forth.
too. I like Tip.
yeah,
But
they
it's-
just failed.
It's the Uncle Tom versus
Yeah.
Nat Turner. Pretty
Yeah.
much was going on.
Yep.
Not exactly like to that extent, but you know what I'm saying.
I got hype when he did this. By the way,
Hey.
this was a dope part.
Definitely.
Shout out to Michael Anthony, boy. He really
Kanye,
came
wake
out
the
of it.
fuck up, man.
Yeah.
Please, somebody
we
hit the cup on his ass.
Yeah, we need Kanye to do this part right here with the antlers.
I don't think he's gonna do it in that
I
Kardashian
need
house.
Kanye to come through with the antlers right now. Throw it down, Ye. Look at him like, yeah, I just killed you, Ye.
It's
Walk
not gonna
off.
happen.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not gonna happen.
It's-
But yeah, I mean, the song is just, I don't know, man. I don't know what he's doing. And
Somebody
then
get
you hear the
low,
song
man.
where it was just like
he was trolling on that one.
yeah,
I ain't
the
gonna count
troll
that
song,
one. I ain't
that
gonna
don't
count that
count.
one.
But
I ain't
I
gonna
mean,
count that one.
it's a Joyner Lucas song.
Yeah.
He tried to do that
The
Joyner
concept
Lucas
is so
execution.
cold though. Like that's why I know. Like I watched his interview with Charlamagne. Shout out to Charlamagne. I think the interview was actually dope. It was informative. Like I saw pockets of the old Ye in there when he talked
Oh,
about
no.
I'm the
Yeah,
greatest. And
definitely.
he talked about how Nike tried to play him. He talked about how
Still has his chip on his
high,
shoulder.
yeah, he's got
Yeah,
the
it's
chip.
same
He talked
shit he
about
been talking
copping
about though.
property.
And this is coming from somebody that fucks with Kanye.
I hadn't heard him
That's
talk-
why I'm shitty now.
But I hadn't heard him talk about copping a 300 acres and doing his own community. Like that was dope. Like I get it.
He's
That's
still
Who's
fine,
gonna
but-
be in this community?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know, man.
fine. But
Are there
you
gonna
know
be
what?
people that look like me and you,
Well, I don't
or are they
know.
gonna be Trump and his homeboys?
I don't know, man.
Is he going
You
to look
have to
out
ask
for,
him.
for Trump's constituency? Because that seems to be where he's at right
Yeah, because like
'Cause
what,
when
like
he gets
Van
on-
said,
And he says, I love Trump. Come on.
Kanye's not relating to us anymore. That's one of the reasons that got me on Kanye. His first album,
Okay.
College Dropout.
Classic.
The songs he was on there talking about
Yep.
was shit I was going through at that time.
That's a fact.
From where he was working. I'm
Spaceships.
working at the same place he's
Yes, sir.
rapping about on the song. I recently dropped out of college. You know, all this shit, I'm relating to all of this
Did
shit.
you insult the manager?
I mean, are we past the statute of limitations?
How are we going to approach him?
I don't know.
Just
Anyway, I could relate to him, and I could relate to him. You know what I'm saying? Album after album, and then all of a sudden, he went somewhere else. Like even the asshole shit. He said he was asshole from the beginning, so that really didn't bother me. You know,
That's
people,
what he said he was.
People would always say, "Oh, well, he's this, he's that." I
Yeah,
mean, he
yeah.
told you that,
He told you that.
but now it's like it's on a whole nother level because he's trying not to be an asshole. He's trying to be for real about the bullshit.
Yeah.
My whole thing is this, is like, I want free thought does not just mean, okay, everyone thinks this way and then we're just going to not think. We're going to think a different way just to be different. You know, when we talk about how we're against Trump, it's based in facts. It's based in his policy. We're not just saying things because, oh, he's a Republican. Because you know what? You said George Bush doesn't care about black people. I'm telling you what, George Bush is a stand-up guy compared to Donald Trump.
Wow.
So I just want people to understand that being of free thought has nothing to do with, okay, I'm a free thinker.
Yep.
I think Donald Trump is a good guy. He's not. I'm sorry. As a politician, as a president, just as how he treats people in business, not a good guy. Not a good guy. And I know it sounds partisan, but I'm sorry. I've done my research.
You actually kind of sound like Donald Trump right now.
Yeah, look, yeah, not a good guy. Not a good guy.
Not a good guy. You know, he's not a good guy. You know, like Kanye West, he's a good guy though. You know, thanks for support.
Oh, he made sure to tweet that shit.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am frustrated by this as a Kanye fan, but as someone who understands exactly what Donald Trump has been doing, because a lot of times I'm not just one of those people that goes by what's been happening on the news, because there's so much that he's done. Like, one of the things that no one talks about is how he's made it to where payday lenders can do whatever they want, and they are victimizing the poorest people in our community.
They've been doing that shit.
I mean, but it's even worse now, because now they basically run loan sharks out of business, because payday lenders can basically do whatever they want over a $1 million donation to his campaign.
All right,
so we could get deep with that, but I'm not going to do that right now. But look, I'm just saying it like this. Kanye's wrong for saying he loves Donald Trump, because you don't love him for his policy. You think he just had a great marketing plan, and we don't have time for that.
I'm more mad at the other shit that he said, honestly, versus him saying he loves Donald Trump. Because fuck Donald Trump at the end of the day.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? We really don't rock with him anyway. But it's just weird that we have to talk about Kanye in place of 45 because he's rocking with 45.
See, and that's my thing. I think his alignment with him is what ultimately was what upset me the most. But like I said, this is going to continue, right? So I know we're going a little bit over, but trust me, this is something that's going to come back up. His album's going to come out. There's probably going to be some records on there that are going to talk about it. So we'll definitely revisit it. Is there anything that's going on with you, gentlemen? Jay Moore, what's popping for you this week?
Let's see. Tonight, Tiki Bob's with DJ Lemmy Vice and DJ Gabby Love. Tomorrow night will be, which is Friday, we'll be at the Hi-Fi. We're going to be doing Back to the Future. It's going to be DJ Metronome,
First
DJ
Friday.
Desi Dez, DJ Limelight, and DJ Stylistic, and I'll be your host as well as Sir Doug. So we'll be in the building for that.
Word. Is Wine After Work popping again, or is it not quite that
That's
time
the
yet?
third week of the month.
Third week of the month.
Yes, sir.
Lone, we got anything else? Anything
No.
pop with you? Okay.
Not this week. Nope.
All right, if y'all follow me on Twitter, Facebook, get that Songs in the Key of Marvin. I like it. It came out pretty well. Lonegevity, DJ Jay Diff, the Golden Voice, Jay Moore, Michael Anthony on the on-site production for Red August. We appreciate you guys. That's going to wrap up episode 79. Please go to our Patreon website, www.patreon.com/New Old Heads. Did I get it right? Yes. Shout out to Coleman Dental, 317-255-8546. No Bad Ideas in the building as well. They take care of us. Shout out to my new Patreon, Brendan Jones.
Why do you say my new Patreon?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry. Our new Patreon, Brendan Jones.
you would have to announce all of them. You can't just
Shouts-
single
shouts
out.
I mean,
to
that's
S.
the one I brought on. I'm sorry.
Shouts to S. Shouts to Sylvia.
Yeah,
Did you
shout
bring
out to William Gary?
You brought on one? Who you bring on? All right.
I don't know.
Brendan, we see you, man. I appreciate you. I call him Akeem at work. That's a long story. Brendan, we appreciate you, my brother, for signing
Prince.
up. Yeah, Prince Akeem. We're gonna call him that when we put him in the raffles. Akeem, we appreciate you, my boy, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.